We're getting some other updates also now coming in. Days after the Supreme Court ruled and upheld the PMLA provisions, opposition parties including the TMC, the Congress, the Aam Aadmi Party, the DMK, RJD and even Shiv Sena, they've all signed a letter and they're seeking a review from the top court. They've in fact issued a joint statement, all these parties that I mentioned from the opposition. Let me bring in our legal correspondent Ananya Bhatnagar, who is joining us with more details. Ananya, give us the details of what the opposition parties are asking at this point. Ananya, can you hear me?
By the opposition leaders with regards to...
We'll try and re-establish that connection with my colleague Ananya, but as we are pointing out, this is just days after the Supreme Court ruled as far as the PMLA is concerned, where they're upheld provisions of the PMLA. You've seen opposition parties now issuing a joint statement. Opposition parties include the TMC, the Congress, the Aam Aadmi Party, DMK, RJD and even Shiv Sena. They've all signed a letter and they're seeking a review from the court. Remember, one of the sharpest reactions that came after this ruling was from the Congress party, who continues to go with the narrative that the centre actually today is misusing agencies like the ED and the CBI. All of this in the backdrop of the summons that have been given to both Rahul Gandhi as well as Sonia Gandhi in the National Herald case, and that investigation still continues. But now you actually have more opposition parties coming together and issuing a joint statement. I believe my colleague Ananya is now back with us. Ananya, if you can hear me this time around, give us details of this joint statement which has been issued by the opposition parties.
Well, yes, Ridhima, the opposition has basically called it a dangerous verdict in the PMLA case. Remember that the Supreme Court heard it for over 2 months and generally upheld most of the provisos in the Prevention of Money Laundering Act. And in fact, days after this verdict has come in, the opposition, including all the major political parties, whether it's the DMK, whether it's the Aam Aadmi Party or others, they have categorically said that it's a dangerous verdict and they would be approaching the top court with a review petition into this particular case. So now, since it's a final order of the topmost court of the country, now the only option available to these people is to file a review petition that would be decided in chambers by a larger bench, and in case the Supreme Court feels that there is something that has to be decided or revisited into this particular judgment. But talking legally, Ridhima, this is not something that could be challenged very easily legally, because remember that the Supreme Court heard this matter for 1.5 years and continuously for 1.5 months before it reserved its order into this particular case. It heard every aspect of it, whether it's the private parties, whether it's the company, whether it's the accused persons who are involved into this, or whether it's the government side, because remember, in fact, for the government itself, there was a battery of lawyers, whether it's Additional Solicitor General S.V. Raju or Solicitor General Tushar Mehta, who took up one aspect of the PMLA, whether it's the criminality of PMLA, whether it's the punishment under PMLA, that was being discussed upon by these people, and it was heard very in a very lengthy manner. So I don't see a point as to why this challenge has been made, but then this is somehow being called by the opposition as a dangerous verdict, saying that it's extraordinary power being given to the ED. So we'll have to wait and watch as to how things pan out. But then this is a statement of the opposition.
Okay, Ananya, thanks a lot for getting us all those details. Some other updates also now coming in after the centre said that political freebies can be economically disastrous. Aam Aadmi Party convener Arvind Kejriwal has questioned the timing. He's tweeted to go on to say ban on announcements before elections. He's posing this question, asking why. How will the economic crisis come from these announcements? He's saying that the centre's target is somewhere else. He's in fact questioning the timing of when the centre has said that political freebies impact the economic situation in the country. My colleague Akash is joining us with more details. Akash, before we get into the political aspect of it, just give us more details of what Arvind Kejriwal has gone on to tweet.
So, Ridhima, let me tell you that after this observation by the apex court, it seems like Aam Aadmi Party convener and also the Chief Minister of Delhi is not very happy with whatever is happening, because as per him, he is actually questioning the timing. And if I can read the tweet, चुनाव से पहले घोषणाओं पर रोक, घोषणाओं से आर्थिक संकट कैसे आएगा, इसका निशाना कहीं और है. So he's, because you see the line of politics of Aam Aadmi Party, because Aam Aadmi Party is a party that believes in free electricity, free water. In fact, they claim that with these kind of services to people, with these offerings, you can actually improve the conditions, the economic conditions. But at this point in time, we saw how just a few days back this matter was raised, and this petition was filed before the apex court by Ashwini Upadhyay, who is also a BJP leader, and he was somewhere questioning these freebies, and in fact was asking to stop these freebies before election. But now Arvind Kejriwal has said that in fact he has raised questions on this particular thing, on this timing, where Supreme Court even has observed that not a single political party wants to take away freebies. So at this point in time, this is the major development, because while we talk about Aam Aadmi Party, this is the line of politics of this party, that they offer free electricity, free water. And in fact, in Delhi and Punjab, you see in Delhi, they offered free water, 700 litre water, and also 200 units electricity. And also in Punjab, they also in Gujarat now, they are offering the similar things, and they are saying that while we'll be in power, we'll be offering you free electricity and free water as well. So at this point in time, they are not taking it so well, and they are basically, asking questions, and also, in fact, raising some questions on the timing of this particular thing.
Okay.
Where,
Akash, I apologize for interrupting. I'll just continue the conversation with you in just a bit in terms of some of the numbers that have been quoted, wanting a stop on these freebies as well. But let me take in a reaction from the BJP. Shehzad Poonawalla now joining us. Shehzad, good to have you on the broadcast with us. How do you respond to what we've heard or what we've seen in a tweet from Arvind Kejriwal, who's gone on to tweet questioning the timing, saying ban on announcements before elections? Why? How will this actually impact the economic crisis? Their target, essentially hitting out at the centre, is somewhere else.
Well, the centre has filed an affidavit based on certain economic realities. And even before this, when the Prime Minister alluded to this Revdi culture, no political party or state had been identified. बट उड़ता हुआ तीर पकड़ने की आदत अरविंद केजरीवाल को क्यों है, वो आप भी समझती हो, मैं भी समझता हूँ. The reason is that in our neighborhood we are seeing how the Revdi culture or the freebie first culture has destroyed certain countries. Now there is a man who doesn't fulfill his promises to the people of Delhi. He said he'll create 10 lakh jobs. He said he'll give 500 schools. He said he'll give mohalla clinics. Instead of that, he opened 850 thekas in every mohalla, and he has given only free nasha and daru to everyone. In Punjab, he's given free nasha and daru and drugs to everybody. Now, instead of acting on the promises given, there is a person who only makes new promises. I guess he is guilty conscious, and therefore he's taking it personally. Now, I can't ask Mr. Kejriwal why he's taking this announcement, which is a national policy or a national perspective that is taken on the basis of certain economic realities. Why is he taking it so personally? This shows that chor ki daadi mein ya chor ki moonch mein tinka hai. Those who are practicing the politics of freebie first, like we've seen in our neighborhood countries, those are the people who are reacting.
Shehzad, from what we've heard as far as the arguments of the Solicitor General is concerned, who's minced no words, gone on to say that this freebie culture is leading us, in fact, to a disaster. There are a lot of comparisons that have been made to the economic situation of India and Sri Lanka also. If we continue the freebie way, why do you think political parties like the Aam Aadmi Party do not agree with the intent as far as the stoppage of freebies is concerned?
Because a freebie, Arunima, is never...
Ridhima this side, Shehzad.
I'm sorry, Ridhima. Ridhima, a freebie never actually leads to any real benefit for the people, because ultimately it goes to the taxpayers' money. For instance, there's a talk about free electricity in Delhi. Do you know taxpayers in Delhi actually paid thousands of crores to the same power companies that Mr. Kejriwal said he would be taking action against? Do you know that in the name of free water, the people of Delhi are actually not getting any water? We get dirty water, and that free water has never really come to us, and we have to pay for tanker mafia. So there is nothing free. In fact, that is just a gimmick that is adopted by certain political parties to spread confusion in the minds of people. And therefore, look at what has happened in Punjab. They said they would make it nasha mukt. What has happened in Punjab?
Okay, Shehzad, we leave the conversation there. Appreciate you joining us here on the broadcast. Political war of words that has erupted over what we heard from the Solicitor General and from the centre as well over the freebie culture. We'll keep tracking all these developments. For now, slipping into a very short break.